Hey, well, now that we're finally good to go and I got all these Olympics to do, how are you? Good to see you.
Great. It's great to see you. How are you?
Is he frozen?
No, I'm saying it's great. It's great. How are you?
I'm doing well. It's so nice to meet you. I'm a really huge fan. Like B is always on repeat for like almost 20 years. So wouldn't be mad if you did a 20th anniversary show, just saying.
Ooh, thank you. Thank you. Listen, I can't believe it's even coming up on 20 years for that project, but man, these years are going quick. And the fact that, first of all, thank you for being in tune with the music like that. That mean a lot for me. And and man, I just know I got new music coming, and it's in the spirit of that energy, like just that hip hop that we love, that is like created in the spirit of like passionate, loving, creative, raw hip hop. So anyway, thank you for checking out B, and A. We hit the 20th anniversary soon, huh?
Yes, yes, yes. Like I said, I wouldn't be mad. So let's go ahead and get this going here to talk about your book. I want to start with something that I got from a friend, and I know that your book goes a lot with things that you've gotten from friends who are also professionals. And so I had this friend who randomly texts me, and she goes, "How is your soul today?" So in the spirit of your book and thinking about that, I want to start by asking you, how's your soul today? Today.
My soul, my soul is feeling strong. My soul is feeling like a peace. My soul is also feeling. It also has some what's the word, hurt in it, because I lost a loved one, close loved one, just last week, and it was a murder. So it's like one of those strange things. So my soul has still been dealing with that, but overall, like I have my soul has a peace and a joy to it overall, and strength.
So you don't flat out say this in the book, but it really feels to me that you did some shadow work to get to the point of writing it. What was the most introspective moment of your journey?
One of the most introspective moments of my journey was recognizing that some of the things that I do in life and the way I deal with people has to do with my 8-year-old self. Like the things that have affected me when I was 8, or 9, and how that appears in my relationships now, in certain ways that I even think of myself, and the challenges that I have when it comes to that. That was really soul opening for me, and going into the deeper parts of my own, um, darker things in the basement of my traumas and feelings. But it was very, very healing and helpful.
Just so you know, I got to unmute two
Yeah, I know.
devices to get this going.
That's why I'm chilling, like giving you that time.
So you have a sentence in the book that I feel really touch our readers. No matter how we are raised, each individual starts to see what resonates with them. Did that come to you more as a child or as a parent?
It came more as a child. I think um, a lot of things that my mother and my stepfather implanted in me resonate with me now. But some things I had to choose my path and figure out what was for me, what was like, what am I, what is my purpose, and is what I'm choosing now, is it in alignment with my purpose? Even though my mother, her journey may have been different, and her philosophy on this may be different, and it may not work for me. Some things she has will, but some things won't. So I had to learn as a teenager, as a young adult, and as an adult to find what things are really me, what things really am I going to choose for my life. And even as a grown man, you know, you still like, because I have a loyalty to my mother. My mother raised me, like gave me a lot of love, and she put me in good schools and just really gave everything she could for me to be the best person I could be. So when she's suggesting things, I gotta respect that and hear it, but it's not, doesn't mean that it's always for me. So I had to learn that, and even that would translate to with my friends too. Like, you know, because when you're young, you want to just, you rolling in the way that your friends think, your friend group, y'all pretty much think a lot alike in certain ways. You have your own individual things, but overall as a group, hey, if we going out and we gonna get in this fight, we fighting. Or if we going out and we trying to talk to women, we going out and we doing that. Or we going out drinking, we doing that. But when do you start making a decision like, okay, you know, what do I want to do? Do I want to be like trying to just go talk to girls all the time, or do I really want to be working on this music, or do I want to, like, you know, like you got to start making those decisions for yourself as a for me it came as a young adult into my adulthood. And that goes with Leslie, that to me it also goes with boundaries too, like having setting boundaries. And I didn't learn that I mean, I knew the word, but I didn't learn what that word meant in life and how you behave until I got to be an adult.
So the vertical that we're working on this for is Kindred by Parents, specifically talking to Black parents. And so this next question, I want you to really think about that audience. And you talk about, you know, boundaries and things like that, and you are a parent to an adult. So what's the biggest value of that sentiment as a parent for an adult?
The volume went out really quick. So can you repeat that one time?
Sure. So as a parent to an adult, what's that biggest value of that sentiment, especially thinking about boundaries?
Oh yeah. As a parent, um, I think it's important that we do our best to understand that our children are like living human beings that are developing and growing within their path. And if we could like remove our egos at times and just do our best to listen and pay attention, and then give whatever guidance and support and encouragement. I think as far as boundaries goes, it would allow us to be able to like respect the boundaries of an individual that is finding who they are and what they want to do. Because we also got to trust in the fact that we've been planting seeds and giving them the best that we have for their lives. And even in those things that we give them that is not right, they develop and understand how to extract that and use what's good for them, because these kids are human beings that develop and are smart and like they will go through issues, but ultimately you just hope and pray and give them enough tools so that they don't make like really life-changing mistakes, like detrimental mistakes that you can't like step in and correct really, and it would affect the rest of your life. But otherwise, the child is just like we had and we did. They're going to go through their journey, and that's what builds who they are as a person, and builds their character to be an adult and a strong and good individual out in society. So having those boundaries to allow them to, I think it's important as parents, we have the boundaries to allow them to live out some of their journey, and not always impose what we think is this is the way, that's the way, that's this, man. So I had to plant the seeds and watch it grow. Like watch it grow. It might one day it might just be still for a minute. Then it might start growing a lot. Then you see it in 2 weeks. It's growing. Like what? This is so. If you trust the seeds that you planted and trust in God, and I think that you will know that it's okay for us to have boundaries and not be imposing all our thoughts onto them.
So as I was reading the book, I was thinking about a few times I was at one of your shows or watching a movie, listening to an album. I'm going to go back to one of these moments. I hope you remember it. If you don't, we'll just go to the next question. So 2019, New Orleans, Essence in the Park. We're standing out there waiting. They keep making announcements. Common's on his way. Common is on his way. When you get there, we expect you're going to be flustered. You kind of do seem a little flustered, but you were so gracious. And you get out there and you do like the best show. I've seen you like 6 times. The best show that I've ever seen you do. What allowed you, whether you remember this moment or not, maybe you can speak on the feelings, but what allowed you to be so gracious instead of feeling as flustered as you probably were?
Um, Leslie, that for me, what I remember that show, and I was flying from overseas, like so it took a minute, and then when I got there, it was like I think they even gave me a police escort or something for what I remember. But regardless, I knew people were waiting. That's for me. I don't like when people wait for a show. I want people to be like open and in a good space when I'm about to perform. Um, and it was stressful and trying to get there, but what allowed me to be grateful is that even within the most stressful situations, I try to think about why I'm there, that I'm blessed to be there. And even with the circumstances that did happen, I am here now. And if I can approach this from a place of gratitude and see what the possibilities of this show could be, then I could actually go out there and do a great performance. But if I dwell on, man, that this didn't, man, I got here late, man, I didn't get the chance to do some of the things that I wanted to do, or people waiting and what happened, like, then I won't be able to actually be what we call present. And one of the most important things, Leslie, I think has helped me in my performances, in my work as an actor, even in conversations that may be heated, is to actually do my best to be present. And that means at times, like obviously letting go of whatever just happened. That means like being in the moment and seeing, man, somebody looking at me and they enjoying this, or I'm about to actually go on and perform and this is a gift in itself. I'm 20 some years into my career at that time, 2019. And and I do that's what this book is about for me too. It's like, I do my prayer. I eat certain ways, a certain way, and I do the physical things of exercise, and I do my own spiritual work, so that when I'm dealing with these difficult things, I can overcome them. I can reach a place of peace in the midst of chaos. So, and I think that's what this book is about, and that's what I applied at that time. And I'm so glad you brought that example up, because that's a great example for me to express how practicing a certain lifestyle has allowed me to be in that gratitude and be in that place, and having those tools. You got to have those tools, because like one thing I want to make sure I'm clear on when I'm talking about this book, and as we go through this piece for parents, it's like that everything is not perfect in the life of Common, in our lives as people. It's not perfect, but I just believe it's happy and it's joyful because of the things that I choose to do, and the practices that I put into my life. And that doesn't mean every moment is happy, but I've grown and learned more how to deal with moments that are difficult, and then eventually get back to my happiness if I'm having to deal with that. And that's what this book is really there for. I like seeing people in a happy space, and not just only happy, but just feeling fulfilled and fruitful, and like in their purpose. And so I think, some of the best ways to get there is by doing what I'm like: spiritual work, mental health work, eating better, and work, some type of physical activity, whatever it may be, yoga, some people do Pilates or take a walk. Walks. I've been taking some walks lately. Them joints is good. You know what I'm saying? Like, I actually had a this doctor, a natural herbalist, tell me, yo, you need to take walks. It's good for your brain. I said, what? She said, yeah, you need to take walks. You need to get the sun and just to walk. And because I was asking her, I was like, I've been feeling sluggish, and bro. She said, have you been taking any walks or going outside? I was like, actually, I was inside for like the whole day. She's like, you got to get outside and get a walk and get some. Anyway, it's those things, like that walk ties into my mental health and some of my own emotional health. Are
Yeah,
you from Cuba? Are you
you
from
mentioned
Cuba?
something about perfection in here, kind of segues perfectly to the next thing I want to say. You had the quote in the book, the goal is not perfection, it's progress. And it seems like this consistent theme. So why progress over perfection? And really talk about that for the parents.
Yeah. Well, I mean, listen, perfection is nothing on this planet that's just all perfection at all times. I don't mind striving towards perfection, but progress is is truly like something that we can attain consistently. And within that progress is moments of like victory that you can like take ownership to and be grateful and like happy and like, yo, I've had this. It's also allows you to like feel better about who you are when you have progress. If you try to like if I'm working out and my goal is to get more fit in it, and if I do like week's worth of workouts and I'm not at that goal yet, that perfection that I've been searching so much for, then that could be discouraging. But if I look at it and say, hey, you know what, man, I'm actually like, I'm able to do 12 reps now, or I'm actually able to do like 15 burpees or something, whatever then, and see that improvement and that progress, it puts me in a better mind state. It makes me feel even greater about myself and better. Like, but the perfection thing is something that I think, the perfection is in knowing that you're imperfect, and that's okay. Like, it's okay. You might achieve some things that come out in excellence and greatness and be achieving that, but you'll never be as a whole person just perfect. I think at that point you've left the planet. Like that's when in my thoughts and philosophy and belief. But otherwise, progress is so important, and taking note of that, and it helps you get to actually the goals of what you might think is perfect at that point. Because if I look at like the way I decided to to remove certain things from my diet, it was like in stages. And once I got to being vegan, no, I wasn't perfect, because I still to this day I eat some like sloppy vegan food if I want to, and it's good. I enjoy it, and it's a good for the balance. But I was able to take them steps and see the progress as I took those steps. And it just allowed me to, as a whole, just be better consistently.
So you talk about a part in the book where you talk about grinding to take care of your family, only to realize later how valuable time spent is. This is something a lot of people recognized during the pandemic, and feeling of guilt consumed people. How do you start over without the guilt?
Well, I think starting over is just acknowledging that, that's how you feel, but that doesn't have to be the future. That doesn't have to be where you are now, and that you learn from it and to keep. And it's like our choosing to go in a different way is a blessing in itself. It's like that's what journey and character is about, and that's what I was saying about parenting. It's like you're not, the kid's not gonna always have it perfect and right, and neither do we. So, like to recognize that, oh man, okay, I could have done better in that situation. Okay, I'm taking note of that, and now I'm acknowledging where I am now, and I'm actually going to do better. And as you start making those choices and doing better, it's like for me, that's even a greater achievement than if you just was doing it. Like it's something, and then this is going to a deeper thing, but I've visited people incarcerated, been to prisons, performed in different prisons around this country, but mostly in California and Chicago, and some in New York. Um, some of the people I've met there have been the most enlightened people I've ever met in my life, and some of the most beautiful people I've ever met in my life. And I always sometimes wonder, wait, why I mean these people in prison, like, but I think they've come from such a heavy space to a better place of light that it just resonates more. It just has a power to it because of their experiences. So if you look at the fact that you've done that, because I definitely felt that way during the pandemic, like, man, I ain't stop and take this time. I've been always on the move and making sure I hit the, there for the special holidays to see my family. But I've been on the move. I missed certain things and didn't just take that quality time and sit sometimes and be still with them. But I was like, I changed that, and I was okay with, like, okay, this was the journey, and I looked at those things and said, this is where my mind was at that time. It's okay, man. I feel like it's okay to acknowledge where you are now, and move forward from there.
Hey, thank you so much for taking time. And listen, if you don't mind humoring me while we close it up, my name is Leslie. I love Just Right. Would you say this interview was just right for you and say my name, like, Leslie?
Leslie, this interview was just right, and you are just right, and those were exceptional questions, and shout out, that's Cuba, right?
Puerto Rico.
Puerto Rico. Oh my bad, Puerto Rico. Shout out to Puerto Rico. All right, love to I should have known that my people gonna be mad, Rosal, and yo. All right, but anyway, Leslie, this was really a great interview. You asked some great questions, and you just right.
Thank you so much. Enjoy your day.
Peace.